Howdy, yeah. Today is December 8th, so I have a long to-do list, and I have just a little bit of time today where I can start finally crossing a few things off that I need to get done. But since I'll be here until dark, might as well let the chickens out. I was actually here earlier this morning and did some light chores, but not completely finished chores by any means, so that's why the doors weren't locked. But this afternoon we've got some sun. It's looking nice, so should I let the little ones out? I don't know. They've been in here long enough, they should be fine, but they'd know this is home. You guys want out? I'm gonna trust you. Probably prop this door open. This one doesn't want to stay open as easily. Probably all of them, just in case. And I will be working in the coops today. I've wasted a lot of time in the evenings, primarily swatting chickens out of nesting boxes. This coop in particular is the worst offender as far as chickens wanting to sleep in there, and it's quite annoying. This coop's great, but for whatever reason these birds are bad, so I think it's mostly just roost space. They all fit on that roost just fine, but it's mostly the smaller flighty birds that are hanging out in the nesting boxes. I think it's because they're getting picked on by my larger birds. So I'm gonna add some roost bars and as many coops as I can today, just to free up some more space, and that way no one feels crowded. I definitely still need to do some more food and water. Chores were kind of weird yesterday, so I think this coop's so good because I do have this stack of straw bales, so there's plenty of room. There's only 2 chickens that like hanging out in the nesting boxes. It's not bad, but let me prop these doors open a little better so they don't close, and then the chickens can get out and stretch for a little bit because they haven't been out since I put them up. I put them out, when was that? It was right about Thanksgiving, so let me get that done real quick. I'm adding in another board here for another roost bar. I find it interesting that the only chickens that aren't scared are my Buff Orpingtons. They're just wondering what I'm doing. They're used to the noise. These are my oldest birds, so the furthest one is Miss Frizzle, and then the closest one is Leia. They're both pretty friendly. So anyways, I've just about got this done. All I did was just tack another board here. I didn't want to put it too high because I don't want the chickens jumping down from this and hurting themselves, so keep it low. Here at least they have the ladder, so they're not always having to jump from a really high spot, but they also do like roosting higher, so I put it a little higher than the nesting boxes, so hopefully that'll add a little more room for them. But I want to beef it up a little bit more, but other than that, pretty simple. So we'll see what the chickens think about that. Just a random board I had laying around. It's a 2x3. All my other roosts have been using 2 before, but it's still nice and wide where they can get the majority of their foot on there. Not curl their toes too much so they don't get cold. A couple little boards underneath just for some added support. I did screw it to the roost, and we'll see what they think. This coop here is my other bad coop, so I just grabbed a 10-foot board and it fit perfect. So I'm just gonna screw that on, and that'll give them a little bit more room there. But that's why I crossed off one nesting box. I only left one open. They're not even using this one, so I might move that over into the chicks over here once they start laying. But yeah, there's only 30 birds in here, so I don't need that much space. And it's just that many more birds that try to cram in a nesting box and sleep. So hopefully this extra room up here will help them out. But I didn't have to do any cutting on this, so that made it super simple. As you can see, this roost bar is quite a bit higher than the other one I put in. I'm just shy of 6 feet, so this is probably 4, 6, 5 foot somewhere in there. So if this becomes an issue with chickens jumping off, I'll lower it, but hopefully it'll be pretty good. They've got a little ladder. Hopefully they can shimmy down. There's only, like I said, 30 birds in here, so hopefully they'll be all right. They also, if they do decide to jump off, they have a nice long run where they can just hopefully glide a little bit. Chickens aren't the most agile. I do have some Sussex in here, and my Sussex did not hit the genetic lottery. It's just a bad batch of birds I got. A lot of them have just feet issues, leg issues, so actually I don't think any of those are in here. I think they're in the hoop coop. These ones look all right, so that's good. But anyways, we'll see if that helps deter them, because it's mostly the Sussex that want to hang out in the nesting boxes, so we'll see. My brother did finally bring my third tub back, so now I'm able to finish parting out the chickens. So I'll put probably about 13 from in there over into there. This already has 13 over here, so that's good. But this room is starting to get really dusty. As you can see, this fan is pretty well covered. And even my jacuzzi, and just everything is covered in dust. So chickens are definitely dusty. But this is the safest option because I have rats downstairs. I don't want them to eat the chicks. Also, doing chicks in the wintertime, it's kind of sketchy if the power were to go out. They're much safer up here because at least this room's insulated and it is up to 7 degrees. So even if everything turned off power-wise, they would be plenty fine up here for, you know, I wouldn't worry about them at this point. But if they were downstairs and the power went out, they would not make it through the night. So it's just an extra safeguard having them up here since I'm doing them through the winter this go around. I've now got 16 chicks in there, 17 chicks in there, and 16 chicks in there. They're all kind of hiding in the back, but we are right at 50 birds. I started with 54, 2 died the next day right after I got them, and then 2 others died maybe when they were about a week old. So we have exactly 50 chicks. The chicks are 3 weeks old today. In another 3 weeks, they will be safe from rats eating them, but we'll see how they do in these tubs for another 3 weeks. They might outgrow them, they might be doing okay, I'm not sure, but I will have to move up some of the summer coops, winterize them, and then put them out there eventually. I'm hoping I can wait at least 3 weeks, if not longer, but we'll see. Now let's close the coops up and see if any chickens are using the new roost bars. I did have to swat a few chickens out of the nesting box, so we'll see if they start figuring it out. We've got 1 chicken on the new spot, and hopefully some of these stragglers will figure it out, because you can't sleep up here. No. The chickens definitely are using the new roost bar. The roosters are really enjoying it, but as far as getting up on the roost, a lot of the smaller birds were enjoying that to kind of catapult themselves up to the actual roost, but the roosters are all sleeping on it right now, so let's go check out the other roost. We've got a little chunk up in the corner there. They haven't really started to cross. I did have maybe 5 chickens in the nesting box. I do have a few over here. What's going on? Did you make it, girl? But that's fine. I don't mind if they stay there, just as long as they're not in a nesting box. So there is 1 chicken on the ground. So we'll wait for her to go up, but at least that created a little more space. There's about 5, 6 chickens up there. So had to help a little bit. About time I got the old beehive blanket out. So with the top cover on there, it doesn't Velcro real great on the top, but I want to keep it all the way up there because it's kind of hard to put on underneath. And I mean, even if water or snow gets in here, it's just going to drip right through, so it's not a big deal. Yes, the bees can still get out. There is a nice little gap here, and their entrance is right there, so they'll be plenty fine. It's just a little extra wind protection. It's black. It's got a lot of dust on it because it's been on the shelf from the chickens, or the chicks when I had them in there. So that should help a little bit, buffer the wind. I did buy some foam board last week. I have yet to have time to cut it and get them on the hives, but it is on the to-do list, like many other things. So it's gonna get really cold here soon, so we need to get that going. Ooh, it's getting a little chilly out there. I can't feel my toes. So all the chickens did go up, which is nice. Still had some chickens really wanting to go into those nesting boxes. When I first put them in, I was out there, it was about 5 nights in a row, shooing them out, trying to get them on, you know, a good routine, good habit of not sleeping in the nesting boxes. But there are some chickens that are just very strong-headed, so hopefully the added roost bars will help. I don't think it'll solve it completely, but it's got to be better than nothing. Ooh, it was 21 degrees out there, 11 degrees below freezing. But you know what? I have yet to deal with a single frozen water. I did also open up the window in here earlier, as well as the door, and then the opposite window on the other side of the barn, just to get some fresh air moving in here, clear out some dust, which is good for the chicks. So everyone is good and taken care of. Howdy y'all, today is December 9th. I finished chores up, and I only got 2 dozen eggs, which has kind of been pretty typical for the chickens. I got 3 there, 1 there, 3 there, but for the most part, mainly 2. I do need to go pick up some more chicken food. So the last time I picked up 10 bags or 500 pounds was last Wednesday. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick them up today, but since I'm not getting into the new feed until tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and write that one on there. So I used to go every 10 days, and now we're about every 7 days. We're going through 500 pounds of food. Because I do have the chicks that are getting older, the ones in here as well as out in the coops. So that's an extra 100 birds. We are up to 40 degrees today, so we're getting a little bit of snow melt, sun's out, beautiful day. I do need to clean out my trunk real quick. On Black Friday they had a special on egg cartons, and since I go through so many of them, I went ahead and grabbed an extra box. So let me get this out, and then we can have room for chicken food.